What's going on, everybody? What's happening? I'm live talking college football. The big man on campus is big man on betting. First look at week one lines. It's not really a first look for me. It's probably like a 67th look, but at least on my own stream, it's the first look. And this is really going to kind of set the stage for the season, right? I'm kind of in a holding pattern, right? So I've got some plans for a Patreon that I was going to work on. But again, things are always fluid. Things are always changing. I'm ready to go on either thing, right? So if it's a company that picks me up or it's my own thing, I've done my own thing in the past and I'm going to do my own thing regardless. So, but content is king. Content is here and it's time to get going and talking about football. We don't have Periscope anymore. So I got to resort to other options to talk about football. And Twitter Spaces is cool, but it's not easy to use. It's not archived. Neither is Clubhouse. YouTube's really the only option, unless I wanted to go to Twitch or something. But I'm familiar with YouTube. I have this channel with 4,700 subscribers. So I figured let's try to build something here. We're putting the previews out. We're putting out content. And look, as many of you know, I'm all about you, right? I want to hear from you. I want to take your questions. I want to answer your questions and kind of get you involved. As everybody knows, I'm right off the top. But I really wanted to kind of focus on really just flying down the list here and taking some early looks at what we're seeing. So we'll wait for a couple of people to get in here. I appreciate that. If you're on Twitter, please retweet the link so we can get it going. It's again, you have to obviously build the channel if you've been gone. I'm not always on here. I've really just only recently started coming back here. So, it's helpful to me if you retweet and we'll kind of hopefully have something that we can continue to kind of come to and talk football. If I do a Patreon, my plan is to do shows like this, obviously a set show on talking about the games and what I'm playing and really kind of having a place to do content for not only me, but people that I respect and people I like and people that I think you would like from a gambling perspective. So, make sure you give it a like, give us a subscribe if you enjoy what we're doing. So here's what I'll ask. You have a game you want me to take a look at? Make sure you drop it in the comments. If you include the line, that would be great as well. That way I know what you're looking at and I can kind of go from there. But I want to start out with the first game on the card this week. It's tomorrow night. It's UAB. It's Jacksonville State. Now, a lot of people won't pay a lot of mind to this, but then they will as well because when we look at this game, it is the only game on tomorrow. People are sick of betting baseball. Obviously there's no hoops. There's no soccer. That's an international break. So people's juices are flowing, and they're going to be ready to bet this game. It's going to be a lot of people betting teams that they don't know a whole lot about. And if I can, I just want to kind of set the stage of what you can expect from Jacksonville State. Okay. Jacksonville State is one of these RPO offenses. Okay. And this is a good football team. Okay. They're always very good in the FCS. They were in the playoffs last year, had a really good season. Obviously it was a COVID year, but this is a team that they're not, going to just roll over and die like, Southern Utah did or a team like that. This is a good FCS program. This is a team that's always ranked in the top 25, but it's important to understand this is also a very good Alabama-Birmingham team as well. This game is in Montgomery. And look, the Blazers are a pretty big favorite. They're 2 touchdown favorites. But when we look at this, we say to ourselves, what can we expect from Bill Clark and UAB? Obviously, I think they're going to be a team that really contends to win Conference USA. Look, I like West Kentucky. I like other teams, but this is a really good football team, okay? They welcome back guys that have seemingly been there forever. Seems like Tyler Johnston's been there for 20 years. But I also have to wonder, is Bryson Lucero a guy that can be the next quarterback of this team? I thought he played pretty well towards the end of the season. I've not been a big Johnston fan. This offense is going to move the ball. They're not ever a team that's dynamic offensively where they're going to put up 50 points a game, but they're solid. They always play great defense. And when I look at this game, this kind of just jumps out to me as, one of those, first to 24 probably wins. Look, I think if UAB wins, they're not going to win 45-0. It's going to be 27-0. I think Jacksonville State can move the ball, though. I think this is a lower scoring game. And when you obviously look at the total, it's 50.5 for a reason. But I'll say this. I like both sides here. I think Jacksonville State's a team that I don't really want to bet against because I do think they're quality. Obviously, UAB is not Oklahoma or Clemson or Alabama. Alabama Birmingham is a team that is solid for Conference USA. They're a good G5 team. But this is kind of right where I'd put the number, frankly. So I don't think there's a whole lot of betting value on the game from a personal standpoint. And I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear. But for me, as you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. I'm not betting shit just to bet it. I think both defenses are really good. So I think, and when we look at these offenses, they're not pace offenses. They're not going to run a mile a minute. They're not going to go and be up tempo. That's not really, I think, the game they want to play. So for me, I spent probably too much time on it. But let's kind of speak to some of you guys. Shay Real, what's happening? Antonio, Garrett, JVSM says UTSA, Illinois. Could UTSA be an upset possibility? Well, I think the biggest thing about week one is we see things and we overreact to what we saw or we underreact to what we saw, right? And obviously, I think Illinois is going to be a prime example of that. This is a really dangerous football game if you're Illinois. Look, another team from Conference USA that I think is really interesting is the Roadrunners. This is a group that has a really terrific running back, Sincere McCormick. They bring back, I think, 10 starters on that team. Their quarterback, he's a tough guy to deal with because he's so good from a dual threat standpoint. And they also have another guy in Lowell Narcisse who can also be really good for them. So they have obvious guys that they could throw in there and be the quarterback. Defensively, they made a really good jump. For years, this was a bad defensive team. They're giving up 35 points a game. They cut it down considerably, which when you're a defense that obviously gets new leadership and, the goal is to not completely cut it down to 19 points a game, but you want to take market improvement and get better. I think this is a really good team. I think they have a good a special teams group. I think from a standpoint in that conference, I think they're going to be really positioned. As far as Illinois is concerned, we obviously saw a team that I think, did they play well? Yes. Do I want to back them here? Absolutely fucking not. I think at the end of the day, Arthur Sitkowski is not a guy that, I want leading my team. I like Illinois' run game, but I don't know how dynamic they're passing. I think it was more of Nebraska was just fucking dreadful, frankly. We all saw we all saw in the first half. Like, everything that Nebraska did was their own just unforced errors that, 99% of teams aren't going to do. Like, even the worst of teams aren't going to do what they did. Like, they're just missing like a throw or, their offensive line was dreadful. Like, UTSA is a solid team. And this line tells you all you need to know. I think people will just kind of say, wow, Illinois looked great in game one. I'm taking them here. They're only 5.5 point favorite, 6 point favorite. I'm in. UTSA is really good, really good. They could cause a scare. And listen, I'm going to tell you another thing. We have to remember, books got crushed in week one. They got crushed. Everything went how they thought it would. So every favorite won, every big favorite won. Nobody covered that should have. Books got crushed. The public won in week one. That ain't going to happen in week two. I tell you, again and again and again, this is not going to happen. You have to be able to see these things. And I think UTSA is really good. And I think if you know football, this is a stone cold, Illinois won. But again, I don't think it was a lot that Illinois, I don't think Illinois played particularly well. Nebraska was just fucking awful. I mean, and they made a ton of fucking mistakes. I mean, it was, fumble recoveries for touchdowns. It was, just bad penalty. I mean, how about the penalty on the interception, right? Nebraska's taken over. They intercept the football, but it's a roughing the passer penalty. I mean, that's the kind of shit that isn't going to happen. And generally, most teams, it's not going to happen too. So, JVSM, is it an upset possibility? Fuck yes, it is. Always ready says, good to see you. You look like you lost some weight. Looking good. Yeah, 120 fucking pounds, bro. So shout out to you. What are your thoughts on Penn State and Wisconsin? I really like Wisconsin this year. I'm very high on this football team. Defensively, they're among the best in the country. It's just that simple. I actually took them in my fantasy league in college football. They're my defense. So, we always have our question about Wisconsin. We always say to ourselves, have they made that move to become the new type of offense we see in the Big Ten? High flying, good quarterback, can move the ball, sans Ohio State or Penn State or whoever, or Ohio, whoever, these big play offenses that we've seen recently, Purdue, some of these offenses kind of taken the step up, and they're a lot more high flying. Wisconsin is Paul Chryst. They're low, they're slow, they're big and beefy up front, and they like to run the football. Ron Dane, Monty Ball, Jonathan Taylor, Melvin Gordon. Like, that's what they are. They always have these dynamic running backs that just sit behind a big offensive line. But I'll tell you right now, I like this Graham Mertz kid. I really do. Look, he got fucked last year. Let's just be honest. The Big Ten had that ridiculous COVID protocol where you missed 3 fucking weeks. It was ridiculous. It was the stupidest thing you ever hear. They bring back everybody. I like what they bring back with their skill position group. I think this kid, Jalen Berger, redshirt freshman last year, I think he's kind of the next great running back there. We know their defense is going to be great. You kept Jim Leonard last year, which is huge. They were top 10 in scoring defense last year. This is a good fucking defense, and I don't need to tell you guys that. They also welcome in a new transfer, Townsend from Oregon. I think he's a guy that really just continues to add just dynamic players to this defense. They're just so good on that end. They always are. That's what they do. As far as what do I think goes on here, I think Penn State's overvalued. They're always overvalued. I'm not a James Franklin guy. I think their win total, and again, I'm not a win total guy. I've said that before. I just and I can do my own video on why they're stupid. But I saw their win total was like 9, which I found to be high. This to me is not a vintage Penn State team. I'm not a big Sean Clifford guy. I'm not a big quarterback guy there. They don't really ever have great quarterbacks. They've had a couple, Trace McSorley and several others, but they're another team, always good running backs, and, defense is always solid. They went out and got some good transfers, but they just don't do a whole lot for me. They don't have those dynamic type of Gesicki type players to me. We'll see what this new, offensive coordinator that they got can do. I'm just not a big James Franklin guy. I've always said that. Didn't they start 0-5 last year? That was ugly. I got a lot of questions and comments and come up to, so I'm sorry if I'm not getting to you. Let's kind of bust through some of these. Somebody asked about Georgia Clemson. Yeah, I don't think it's a real good betting game to me. It's a game that you're going to have a ton of public action on. I think sharps are on the dog here. I'd probably be on the dog. But again, if you're betting at 3, it's a bad number. Could have got 4, 3.5. I would look around. You can get a good price on Georgia if you like them. But I think it's a flip. I've said that before. A bit of normalcy. I'm tuning into a stream of big men giving betting info. Love it. Thanks for watching, Levi. UCF, Boise State. Yeah, I think my first thought was over. But then I think to myself also, why is Boise State getting 5.5 here? I think they're the better team. Obviously, UCF's going to get a lot of love because, they're UCF. And look, I like their quarterback a lot, but I'm not a big Gus Malzahn guy. Their defense is dreadful. I mean, and they lost Richie Grant, their best defensive player. Do you want to back UCF against 2 really good quarterbacks? I'll tell you what, Khalil Shakir is the best receiver you don't know about. George Halani is terrific in the backfield for Boise. Defensively, Andy Avalos, I think, is a great hire for them. I think Boise's really fucking good, people. Really fucking good. Whether it's Sears or Buckmeyer, they are really fucking good. I think they win this game to me. But and again, I think it all comes down to who gets to stop. And I ain't going to trust Central Florida to get a stop. Timmy Top, for any thoughts on ECU App State? Yeah, ECU, I think if you're looking at ECU at this point, you're betting a bad fucking number. I mean, this number was much higher. It looks as if sharps have gobbled that up. This has been bet down considerably. Keep in mind, App State lost Zach Thomas, you're right, but Chase Bryce is a pretty damn good policy to have coming in. Defensively, they're really good. Look, ECU, the big question with ECU every year is, look, they have the talent. I like Holt Nailers. I like CJ Johnson. I like Tyler Snead. I like Mike Houston. But they don't win the battle in the trenches ever. They just don't. They're not good enough. on the offensive line. They're not good enough on the defensive line. They lost Deontay Smith last year, their best offensive lineman. He went to the NFL. They're just not dynamic enough in the trenches, and they get bullied. They're not a real good defensive team. So I think this number's been bet down, and I get it. I think obviously this year you'd hope ECU can be a bowl type of team. Mike Houston, I think you brought him in with the expectation that you were going to be really good or eventually get to a bowl game. They just don't win the battle in the trenches, and that's important to me. They get bullied off the line a lot of the time, and App State's like really legit. So, I'd lean if I had to play it, which I haven't. I would lean App State, but it's not one that I've ran to the window to bet. August Lober, is Fresno a sneaky play on Saturday? Yeah, I would like 21.5. But you're right, they are. What's Hayner's injury status? I saw he got injured. It seems very high. But I've been one to say I like Oregon. From what I've heard, they love this Anthony Brown. When Oregon gets going, they get fucking going. I need to know what Hayner's status is. That's really my big thing. The line would lead you to believe he's not going to play. It's a lot worse than it is. I mean, I look at that line and I just say that's too high. Now with Hayner out, it's not too high. So Ryan, holy shit. Let me go back a little bit because a full body. Yeah, but again, maybe it's something else. We'll see. I got to get good info on that. But yes, that number did strike me a bit high. I'm a Virginia Tech fan, but UNC seems easiest bet of the week to me. Lame duck coach, terrible OC, DC is inexperienced. Best players went to the NFL, running back and left tackle. Look, I'm going to share this info to you right now. I think UNC loses this week. I think what you made some interesting points, and they're valid. But again, you must also look at the number. You've got to look at the particulars. You got to look about what UNC doesn't have because they also lost a lot of talent on offense. And I know they bring back Hal, who might be the best quarterback in the country when it's all said and done. But they remind me a lot of like Texas over the last couple of years. Really good quarterback, but I just don't love much else about them. De'Ami Brown is really good. Defensively, they're never really good. This is a road game. They're laying a sneaky, weird number. Blacksburg, 8 o'clock, whatever it is, nighttime. That is a dreadful place to go and play. Why the hell is this line of only 5.5? This is a sharp, square, public split. I think Virginia Tech wins the game. I could be wrong. I haven't bet it yet. But I think, all due respect, Ryan, I think you and everyone else is thinking the exact same thing. And look, I'm big on personnel. I think it's important in college. I really do. But you've got to be able to look through some of these things and kind of see it. This screams to me that North Carolina is going to struggle to get stops. It's going to come down to, it's like 34-31 with a few minutes to go, and it's jockeying back and forth. It's not for the faint of heart to take Va Tech here, But is North Carolina made any improvement defensively? Because it doesn't seem like they ever do. It's always like they have a great offense, but they can't get any fucking stops. I remember when they went to and they'll have these games where they'll play really well like once offensively or defensively, but then it just goes back to the same old shit with them. Temple is also awful. Have to fade them. Took a teaser with Rutgers and Ohio State. I hate teasers. Let me say it again. I don't hate them, but I think in the NFL, they're the only place I'd really bet them personally. But no offense, but I think teasers are for people that they're not like, I don't want to say this without offending people. I'm just kind of putting it through how I look at it. I bet a lot of teasers when I was a young gambler. Like I kind of see through it now. Do I think Rutgers wins by more than 7 and Ohio State wins over 7? Probably. But I think you have to bet teasers and know like how to bet teasers. Because people bet a teaser and they'll take a team that's like -3.5 and move it past 0 and realize like they think they're getting up on people. And it's like, well, no, you're losing a whole point because, it just, they don't get it. Now in the NFL, NP, if I could take a team from 6.5 to 0 or from, cross key numbers, sure. I hear you. I get that. But I see people teasing college totals and stuff. Not something I do. Haven't done in a long time. So, but yeah, you asked me my opinion on the bet you put out. Looks pretty good to me. Just saying. I do agree Temple is bad. Their quarterback play is really poor. Look, I watched them last year with Russo out. I mean, it was hard to fucking watch. And defensively, they got just destroyed. A lot of people left. And they were a bad defensive team last year. I was regularly betting against them from team totals for the other team. Cameron Jennings says, I like Marshall. I don't. I didn't understand why they got rid of Doc Holliday. I like Wells, but I actually like Army too. So I'm not a big Marshall guy personally. But I wish you luck. Brandon Carducci says, Team Nadu. Shout out to you, bro. Stephen Cleland, UCLA, LSU. This is another one. I mean, why do I want to take LSU? I think a lot of people are saying. Hurricane going on. Families are displaced. But again, these are young kids. They're the best of the best. And what did we last see? UCLA being really fucking good. I guess the question is, do we believe they're really good? And now people are overacting and saying, of course they're going to win at home. But LSU's a favorite? Come on. Here's what I'll say. I think if you took UCLA and if you took Vatek and LSU, I think at worst you'd go 1-1 at war. I don't think you'd go 0-2 there. Those are the two big ones this week where it's like, yeah, overreaction city. And again, I like Hal, but I don't love the rest of them. I like UCLA, but do I trust Dorian Thompson-Robinson against LSU? Hawaii, you're just way better than those kids, which I kind of talked about when we talked about that game. I thought the under made sense. I liked, UCLA. The line didn't make sense to me. I think a lot of people took Hawaii with the thought of, well, they're not great, but they're good enough to hang around. No, they're not. LSU is better athletes than UCLA. Just telling you. And what's our excuse here? Because there's a hurricane? Yeah, I know there was a hurricane. But you know what? That could rally a fucking team too. And let me ask you something. Is there a fucking rah-rah guy you want to play for more than Edo? I'll tell you right now, no. So cut that shit out, okay? Cut that shit out. Those guys will be fine. They're going to be ready to go. And I'd like Max Johnson. I like him a lot. Let me say it again. I like him a lot. Sharp money is taking Max Johnson to win the Heisman Trophy. Is he going to be Joe Burrow? I don't fucking know. Probably not. Okay? Joe Burrow is like arguably the greatest one-season college football player we've ever seen. But something smells here. And again, this is why I do these things. It's not that I'm the greatest handicapper on our earth or I don't lose or whatever. I've just seen all this shit before, and I'm like Kanisha Rounders. I'm trying to teach you through my bad beats. You feel me? And I'm good at talking about personnel. Tommy Cheese Balls. My man, shout out to you. Where's my fucking cheese balls? Love Tommy. Legend on the Jersey Shore. Glad to call him a friend. Matt Weeks, I talked about that one. Stephen Cleland, Michigan and Western Michigan. Michigan should roll. I don't think Michigan's great, but Western Michigan is, I just think they're just not on the same playing field as Michigan to me. I'm a Temple alum and can admit we fucking suck dick. Safe to bet total under. I got to look at their schedule. I'm kind of past win totals. I don't bet them really anyway. So, I'm kind of getting ready for the season. Dan Bateman, hope you're well, mate. Nadu crew. Shout out to you, Dan Bateman. Appreciate that, bro. Nevada outright against Cal. I would watch yourself with that one, brother. Cal, seriously very good defensively. I think they're going to have something for Mr. Strong. Look, when you play a quarterback to the level of Strong, you got a whole summer to prepare, get ready for. Yeah, let's just say I think they're going to be ready to go. That's just my opinion. I like Cal. They're always going to win games 17-13. That's what Justin Wilcox wants. And, you know, I'm a big Pac-12 guy. I enjoy the Pac-12. You know, I've always loved the, Washington State and, Utah. And by the way, I'm going to get to Utah in a second. But I like Cal. And look, if I hear one more fucking person like distinctly bring up last season when they're talking about shit, I don't want to fucking hear last season. The only thing I want to hear reference last season is the players that are back. I don't give a fuck about the performance last year. It was a weird year for everybody. Everyone had shit going on. People had players out. I just don't give a fuck about what happened last year. I don't fucking care. Chase Garbers is back. They have a new offensive coordinator, Bill Musgrave. Defensively, we know they're going to get stops. It's can this offense take the next step? They have everyone back on offense for the most part. I like Garbers. I do. I think Nico Ramiga, a guy I really like at receiver. They bring back, I think, 4 starters on the offensive line. Yeah, look, I think Nevada, I think Cal has something here. Trust me. Because I've watched over the years Washington State get absolutely shut down when they play Cal. Cal is fucking legit on defense. They always are. That brings me to Utah. Utah. I'm going to keep planting the fucking flag for the Utah Utes. I love this fucking team. I love Utah. Utah is for fucking lovers. Yes, it is. And you know what? They might have a fucking quarterback, people. And you know who it is? Charlie fucking Brewer. Bring him fucking in. Big 12, baby. Let's rock. They got players to throw to now. Brant Kuth is the best tight end in the country. Britton Covey, Charleston Rambo. And that defense? Woo! Oh, yeah. Give me something. And by the way, they have the best bowl coach in the country. He don't lose in bowls. He covers against red. By the way, do you know who's one of the best teams over the last, since he took over? I think he's covered, he's a winning better. If you bet on every Whittingham game, you are winning. He's a legend. Special teams, they're always terrific. I love Utah from a season perspective. You talk about a team from a Power 5 that can win something. Hello. Love them. But I'm fucking rolling. I love this. I love this shit. This is what I do. This show right here, this one I'm doing, should be on fucking Barstool Sportsbook, and they should put it in a fucking casino, and I should simulcast every fucking day. College football, NFL, college hoops. That's what I should fucking do. And you know what? All I need is a producer. By the way, York Sportsbook, not far away. I could do it every day. This needs to happen, folks. It has to. There's no one that can do what I do. No one. And I'm having a good time. And you know what? I'll bring on experts. I'll bring on people that I love and trust that people like to hear from as well. All I need is 2 things. And I won't make a fucking peep. I'll do numbers. People will like it. And the gambling company likes it. Give me that. Big Men on Betting presented by Barstool Sports. Put me in a little casino. Give me a little box. It's like I'm in a jail cell, but I'm just talking about football. That's what I want to do. Basketball. You imagine every day having this during basketball? We're taking calls. Joe in Iowa, what do you think? Brant in Utah, what do you think? Gino in New York, what do you think? Come on, man. You're wasted. Talent's being wasted here. The saddest thing in life and wasted talent is wasted talent. Come on, baby. This is what I do. Wishing Charlie Brewer the best from Baylor. He needs a defense, O-line, because he can't win games on his own. But if he's got talent around him, they will win games. JP, it's all about the system. And I'll tell you what, culture, chemistry, Ooh, Salt Lake City, baby. Perfect. Defense, offensive line, good skill position players. Beautiful marriage. That's why I love it. And I couldn't agree more. Is Brewer the most talented player you've ever seen? No. But in the right system, it's going to be great. Chris Liu, we all know what happens to made men. Laugh my ass off. Well, look, the real made men, though, nothing happens to them. But the fucking sneaky snake motherfuckers, you know what happened to them? I don't need to tell you. Big shout out to Jeff, quite literally half the man he used to be. Yeah, buddy. What's up, cuz? Yes, I love it. Carson Botner. I've already bet on this game, actually. I gave it out on Pick Central, if you've listened to it. What do you think of Oregon State plus 6.5? I bet the other way. I took the other side. I'm actually very high on Purdue this year. I think right out of the gate, this is a really good spot for the Boilermakers at home. New quarterback, Austin Burton. I like the kid, though. I think he is poised to have a pretty good year. I like him. He's from UCLA. Actually played against Oregon State in 2019. Actually didn't look too bad, but they are really high on this kid. And I think, and again, the right system, Jeff Brom, I think he has a good year. I like their skill position kids. I think defensively they've taken a step forward. Brought in Brad Lambert. He was the coach down at Charlotte for a while. I think he's way better as a coordinator. And Oregon State, this is really also a play against them. I'm not a big Tristan Gebbia fan. I don't know if he's prepared. He couldn't hack it at Nebraska. I saw him last year. I don't think he was real effective. They lost their bell cow, Jamar Jefferson. Lost some talent on the in the secondary. Wright's gone, one of their great corners. I have some question marks. I like Purdue in this game. It's one I played. Someone says, fuck Rico. Listen, guys, it's not about Rico, okay? Who gives a fuck about Rico? I can do shit he can't. It's not about him. Fuck him. If he wants to walk away, let him. I don't think he should. He should stay. Kick his fucking feet up. Hang around. I'm not worried about what he does because I know what I'm capable of. All I need to do is fucking roll. Once I get rolling, ain't no stopping. All right. What's up? You were looking fabulous, says AJN. Shout out to you, man. Same to you. Nice to see you. Under in Michigan State, Northwestern. Well, look, listen, I'm not going to tell you should bet over in that football game. I mean, Northwestern, that's what they do. Good defensively. They keep it on the ground. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. So, yeah, I wouldn't talk you out of it. Not a game I really looked a whole hell of a lot at, but, do what you do. It's a game look, if that game were, on week 0, I'm in. But, it's not. So I don't care very much. Mel Tucker, I'm no interest. No interest. By the way, I think I made a mistake. It seems like this guy in the chat's going to call everything out that I get wrong. I didn't mean not Charleston Rambo. I'm thinking of Theo Howard. He was at Oklahoma. I think Charleston Rambo was as well at one point. Theo Howard's at Utah. He didn't play last year, but he was actually really effective at one point at Oklahoma. So he's out at Utah. This guy's comment I think once or twice so far, and it's just correcting. By the way, brother, there are 130 teams. Occasionally, I'll have a player on the wrong team. It is what it is. But I don't know that there's a lot of people that can do this. So, but yeah, I believe Rambo's at Miami now. Either way, I believe they were all at Oklahoma at some point. That was the starting spot. Are they giving you Pick'em? I haven't heard from anybody about Pick'em, so I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything from them. I reached out to Brandon last night to see if he wanted me on the show today. Didn't hear back from him. Didn't hear from any of those guys. So, not sure. Conspiracy Dog, Alabama and Miami. Eileen Hurricanes. Any thoughts? Tough spot for both teams. Obviously, you have Hick King. He comes back off an injury. And this is not a great team to have to face in your first game. This kind of reminds me a little bit of, in a weird way, the Hawaii UCLA line. I feel like people are going to take Miami and be like, well, it's too many points, whatever. Has Miami made the step defensively to be better? Alabama's just on another planet generally than a lot of teams. I get the weird feeling Bryce Young is just incredible. Because, look, does anything ever happen bad to Alabama? Why does this not scream like 42-21 to me? You know? I'd be looking at Alabama team total over, if anything. I have no interest in like a spread here or side. Ace, if you're making me pick, gun to my head. I don't like doing gun to head picks because assholes just take like the 3 seconds I say Alabama minus 18.5 is the way I'd go when it was just like someone asked me about it. That's why doing these shows sucks sometimes because people take like a fucking 2-second thing that I said and be like, oh, you fucking loser, you suck. See, you gave it Alabama. No, someone asked me and I said, gun to my head, pick it or I blow my head off, I'd give you Alabama. I would lean towards Alabama's team total. I trust them to score points. I don't think Miami's made a real step forward defensively. That's my thought. Aaron Sullivan, I've never seen such a thing as a lock in gambling. Exactly. Front door, man. Front door. That's where your locks are. Make sure you have a good one, too. Bully, Charlotte Duke thoughts. I like this Charlotte team. I'm a big Chris Reynolds fan. I like Will Healy. I think he's building something down there. People have to remember a couple of years ago, I think it was the Heineke teams at Old Dominion under Bobby Wilder. They were making bowl games. They were in the Bahamas Bowl, stuff like that. I think Charlotte's going to do things like that. I like this Charlotte team. I think they're a little undervalued. People don't talk much about them. I think they're going to cover numbers this year. Do I think they're going to beat Duke? Yeah, I do. I do think they're going to beat Duke. I think Duke is horrible. They're dreadful. This is a David Cutcliffe team. He should have retired. Bye-bye, Cutcliffe. See you later. Yeah, lead in Charlotte. I like this Chris Reynolds. I like him. AJN says Eastern Washington over UNLV. I don't hate that. The time of the year has come. NC State, USF over 59 thoughts. Look, NC State shouldn't have any problem scoring. This kind of screamed like, if I'm just giving you my opinion, it screamed like 38-17 to me. Just my thoughts. I don't know if you're going to get much out of South Florida. That's the problem. What does Jeff Scott do there? Can they get to 20? I think for this one to get over, they have to get to 20. Aaron Sullivan says Charlotte is hot garbage. I don't know about that, but I think you should do a little bit more research on them. Have you seen Duke? Duke's not very good either. LSU, UCLA. We actually talked about that one. Check out the replay. Do you think Clemson goes 12-0? I think the only game they would lose would be Georgia. I think if they win that, they'll go undefeated. But for that matter, Georgia could go undefeated too because I don't think they lose. So outside of the first game. So when did Bama ever get a new quarterback and start slow? My guess would be Blake Sims. I could be wrong. That was like the only year that I wasn't like real uber confident in their offense. So I'm sure there was another one, but all right, Aaron, we get it. You're a big Alabama fan. Cool. Okay. Judging by your Charlotte point, you say they're hot garbage. That's kind of crazy. But again, I don't know. I would guess Blake Sims, but I could be wrong. Patrick Fry says, I feel like Miami jumps on them early, but Bama crawls back and wins, but probably won't cover. Good luck. Good luck with that. Listen, I've learned a lot over the years. One of them is probably not thinking Alabama's going to start slow. I guess this person's right with like starting slow. They really don't do that. So Brian Baker says, would I bet Florida State plus the points? Not at that price. You missed it, Brian. You should have bet it earlier. When I'm betting it at 7.5 when it was way higher, hell no. You'll lose long term doing that shit. You lose on like 4 or 5 points of value. Grindy Season says Stanford KSU. I actually did a preview of that on my channel. Go check it out. It's the one I've done so far. So go check it out. You'll get more information there anyway. You have them +9. Okay, better, obviously. We missed the boat on FSU if you didn't get the early line. What are you following what I'm saying, cuz? I just said that. He says 9 is a good number. It was 12.5, so I don't think it's a good number. Aaron, you're behind today. Catch up. Catch up, Aaron. R. Vaughn, Cincy against Miami of Ohio. Look, Cincinnati is, I got a lot of shit for my well, I didn't get a lot of shit. I got a couple pieces of shit about my draft. I have Desmond Ridder as my quarterback. The guy has just continuously gotten better and better. Defensively, there's not a lot of teams that are better than them. The real question is, do you think Miami of Ohio can hang around? I like Chuck Martin. Always have a pretty decent run game, but they lost their best running back last year. Do I trust Brett Gabbert? Not really. Could Miami Ohio get shut out? Probably. Their corners, Miami of Ohio, are not good from what I remember. I wouldn't be taking 23, put it that way. This could surely be 30 nothing or something. And I think that's kind of what everyone thinks it'll be. I have Ole Miss in my pocket as well. I bet that a while ago. Randstand, what's happening? All right, guys, I will hang on here for another couple of minutes. I have to grab a late lunch here, and then I got to do a call on the radio with South Jersey ESPN at 97.3. So stay tuned. I'll be on for a couple more minutes. This isn't going to be the only time we do this. We will do this later in the week as well, probably Thursday, probably. I see an interesting tweet I want to talk about. Todd Furman put out a tweet earlier that there's a difference between actionable sports betting content and sports betting content just for content's sake. It's up for the consumer to decide whether he or she finds value. I said that was a great idea. And Eric Parkle, who I know pretty well, he's a sports betting guy. I think he makes a good point as well. 98% of the sports betting content isn't actionable because, again, if you're truly a sharp, you're not putting your info out, which is totally true. It's just that simple. If it contains trends with arbitrary endpoints, it's useless. If it contains picks, it's mostly useless. And if it contains public dog or fade the public, it's garbage. But there is a sheer difference where when you're doing content like this, you must talk about all that stuff. But again, everyone has the way they do things, right? And if you're if you're actually moving numbers, if you're actually smart enough, if you have that much money, you're generally not going to be on YouTube talking about it. Content is content. That's all it is. Luckily, I don't think I'm like all the other people doing content. I try to have some sort of quality shit, but I like Eric. I've met him. He's a good guy. All right, we'll do a few more comments here. If you could give an overrated and underrated team in college football, who would it be? Texas A&M. I'm just ready for them to prove it. I think they're rated too high. I don't really look at top 25, though, to be real honest. I don't care. I bet college football for betting. I don't really care about the rah-rah shit. Where's my team ranked? I don't care. No offense. Not knocking your comment there, though. What are good research for a new gambler to read? What do you mean by that? Like, who would I tell you to listen to? FIU, Florida. I kind of think FIU stays under the number. So you think they'll cover is what you're saying. Mullen knows to be very vanilla offensively in openers. And it's how much do you believe in Emory Jones? FAU isn't your old FAU teams. So, not a game that really moves the needle for me. Florida needs to get better defensively. Have they done that yet? I'll wait and see. JP, looking forward to your videos the rest of the week. How many games you're going to do in depth like you did for Stanford, can't you? Probably 10 or so. I'm going to start putting them out tonight again. So, we'll have them out. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Do I think Clemson will go 12-0? I said, I think it comes down to the first game. If they win that, they're going to go 12-0. Any news on negotiations? There haven't been any negotiations. I'm my phone is silent. I haven't heard from anybody. So I'm doing what I do, New episode of my show comes out tomorrow. I'm doing content. That's what I do. If things change, they change quickly. So, but no, I have not heard from anybody. As I said, I contacted Walker last night, 4:35. I said, hey, do you need me on the show Tuesday? I can be there. Didn't hear from him. So I haven't heard anything about tomorrow or anything else. So listen, it works pretty simply there. I'm not an employee, so I wait for them to tell me what they want. I'll be there when they want me to, but I'm not going to just go up there uncocked because, as I've said before, Rico Bosco's done a lot of shit to me. And if it's not a coordinated thing and I just see him and I don't know I'm going to see him, I might do something I regret. So, I try to change, I'm not a kid anymore. I try to wise up a little bit. I can't act certain ways. So, I'm not going to put myself in that. And I haven't been asked. So if I'm asked, I'll be there. But I'm not going to, eventually, I got to start doing things on my own. I got to make money. So, I'm just going to do what I do. Who would I say in college football you should listen to? Drew Martin. He's a friend of mine. Joe Lisi. I'm a big fan of Joe's. I've known him for a long time. Met all these people personally. They're friends of mine. Obviously Ian. I love Ian Cameron. Who else do I really like? I don't want to miss people that I'm close to when it comes to college football. I'll tell you right now, I think Brandon Walker's terrific. I think he knows a whole lot about college football. I think he's a great resource. I've always said I would love to do a show with him and I think it would be so good. It wouldn't be as fun, I think, as some shows. But again, I have a weird, I can have a good time, but we got to get down to business too, and I think him and I would love to work with him. I think he's terrific. He's a little prickly, and I don't know if he always likes me, but I think he ultimately respects me, and that's all I can ask for. I like him a lot. He's a no-nonsense guy. You know where you stand with him a lot of the time. I think ultimately he just wants to talk about football and have a good time. He'll get around in the mud a little bit, but he likes to steer the conversation. And I've never really been able to tell him this, and if I ever do, if I get a chance where I see him a little bit and I can tell him like I want to, he's a guy that I relate a lot to because while I don't have kids or a wife, I've grinded for a lot of years as well. I've done those streams on the internet that no one listens to. I get it. And I think he's we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I respect him a lot. I think he's great at what he does. And I think he thinks the same about me as far as my ability to gamble. Someone's talking about, what about Donnie? Donnie doesn't really do college football. There you go again, trying to start shit. Oh, didn't he mention Donnie? Man, Donnie don't do college football. You fucking know that too. NFL, he's one of my favorite people. And if I ever had my own show, he would get his own day, 100%. Donnie is a good friend. I know his family. I know his wife. I know his kid. They come to my family parties. Donnie's probably my only friend outside of this shit, that I see on a regular basis. Don't try to start shit. Donnie don't do college football. Everybody knows that. He might talk about it, but it's not his, it's not his thing. Kyle Weir, why weren't you on Pick Central today? Because I asked and no one responded. I'm not just going to go up there. That's just, it's not the right time. Okay. Unless you are in the flow there, you'll get it. I asked multiple people, didn't get a response. And I just explained why I wasn't there. You must have just joined. All right, I got to jump off. I got to eat something quick here before I got to do this call. So I'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching. We'll do this later in the week. Make sure you subscribe. Check out some of the videos that I'm going to put out. We'll do kind of the standalone thoughts on games that some of you've asked about. So stay tuned to those. And thanks for checking out the show. See you next time.